This video has been sponsored by Beltline Hobbies and by the Canfield and Wooster train shows, Saturday, February 15th and Saturday, March 15th, 2025. Hi everybody, it's Chris at the Cloverdale Transit Authority, and well, the world's smallest O-gauge train layout is going away because we're talking about trains at Christmas time, and we're going to rework this room to do just that. So we'll be back with this, I'm sure, but I'm taking the table out of the solarium and we're doing something different. So the first thing I did was I went out and I got a 6-foot by roughly 30-inch folding table and a piece of that foam insulation board that I cut down so that it was 6 foot. It was a 4x8 foot sheet, and that it's, it's like about 35 inches. So there's a little overhang because I need that because I'm going to be running an 031 oval on there. So I needed more than the table could give me. So I decided to take that up with a little bit of that foam insulation, and that'll be just fine. That'll work out great. So I've got that all set and started to sort of test things. I'm using 031 MTH reel tracks because that's what I had, and I'm going to then continue to use my 031 elevated oval made out of course, the old tubular track and the Lionel support pylons. So in order to get this thing kind of secure, I put masking tape, contractor's tape down in sort of big loops that I can put the foam on top of so it just doesn't shift around. And this is enough to hold it, especially since I'm going to be putting a tablecloth over it. So got that in place, pushed it up against the windows, got it in the right spot, made sure I had room for everything else I was going to do, the transformer and everything. And so that worked out pretty good. And then I wanted to cover all of this with, I wanted some kind of cloth that would cover the sides so I wasn't looking under the table. And this Christmas tablecloth was going to do just right for that particular use. So I got that put down, and then I put a couple of those snow blankets that you can go out to the craft store and get just to kind of give it a snowy sort of feel. And then I, again, tested the track again on top of this, and I know it looks a little wrinkly, but a lot of this is going to get covered up. So, but that turned out really well with the tablecloth and then the snow blankets. I think this is going to do exactly what I want it to do. But as you can see, the snow blankets don't go all the way to the back edge, but that's fine because there's going to be track back there, and there's going to be a little bridge and buildings, so you're really not going to see that. And we're going to do some more fake snow work on this in the end part of the process anyway. So I just, tested all this, and I'm kind of thinking about where this particular elevated track's going to go because I want the oval to loop underneath it. That's the idea. And so it looks like it's going to fit, and it's going to be right there in just the width that I need. So that's a good thing. And then I wanted to test this looping the oval underneath there, and I had to put it just in the right spot. So it was going through, and I was a little worried about the height that engines would be able to get underneath there. Though I know that's what it was kind of designed for, and I thought I was going to have to build these pylons up and put blocks underneath them, but I tested my tallest engines, and everything seemed to be just fine. So got everything out there, got my power connectors all connected, got the oval laid out, and everything looks like it's working just right. It's exactly as I had planned on it to be. And I put my Lionel post-war die-cast girder bridge there in the back just as a little extra feature. And I plan on putting a rotating beacon there, a post-war rotating beacon. And then down in here off to the side, I'm going to have my transformer, KW transformer, so I can run both engines off of that. So in order to test everything, I got out my Chessie speeder that I got from the Lionel 2024 catalog, and ran that just to make sure that everything electrically was going to work once I hooked up the transformer, and everything seems to be good to go, at least here on the oval. and then I'll get that up on the elevator. So transformer looks good. Got it set up on a little base, so I don't have to reach all the way down to the floor. And speeder is up on the oval. Up on the elevated. Sorry, it's running, and we've got a post-war Alco Santa Fe war bonnet. Just doing a test run so we can make sure we've got everything going. And there's the rotating beacon, which I've got that all wired in, and I'll be ready to hook that into the track power. But yeah, so far real happy with this. And here we are with some of the buildings, not all of the buildings, but some of the buildings. Rotating beacon is working. I'm running different trains on here to make sure everything functions the way I want it to function. And we still have a little bit of set decoration left to do, some scenery. But I just wanted to see how this all came together and if it was what I imagined in my head that it was going to look like. And in the solarium, we've got, all kinds of color lights going, and even during the day, it looks great. It still needs a little bit of love. It needs some texture. And there's another special building that's going to be coming in, but I'm running different trains in there just to kind of see how they look. And again, with our big railroad crossing light that's, hanging in the corner from the ceiling and other lighting that goes on in that room at night, it looks pretty cool. I'm very happy with it so far. So I really want to get the final touches on here, but the first important part is this last building that's going to really make the whole Christmas layout, and it's from my friend Mary, and she said, look, I've got something that I want to give you. So but there's the Lionel train store from my friend Mary, and boy, does that make the layout. And there's a little Lionel truck, but that's what I've been waiting for, and it really seems complete. But, again, it needs a little set decoration. It needs a little something extra. But with that last building on there, I think we're finally ready to go. But we've got a lot of things that we've got to hide. We got to do some movie magic here. Even if we don't include Godzilla in on the final process. But it's going to look great. I'm happy with just where everything is spaced out. So I'm just going to run some trains. Just let some trains run and kind of get a feel for it and see how it looks and see how all the lighting plays out. So there we are. I like the lighting. I like the position where everything is. I even added the little Lionel train platform, though it does have lights on it. I didn't really bother to power it up. I just didn't want to start tearing things up and running some more wires. But it looks pretty good in there. And all the trains that I've been running, they seem to feel at home there. So I think that's a good thing. But we're going to be moving on to the next little step that really just gives the final pizzazz, and we're going to be adding some more buffalo snow or fake snow into this because we really want to cover up this wiring. We want to give it some texture, we want to give it some elevation, and it really adds to it. Plus we're also going to add some trees, we're going to add some people, and that's going to be a huge plus for just this thing that's really a 35-inch by a 6-foot layout. So here's the buffalo snow. We roll it out of the bags and we kind of cut it with some fabric scissors to fit certain parts. But you can see, look, now it really looks like fluffy snow, and we get it tucked in underneath the track, so it goes right up to the track, and then we just get the edges tucked in, and we got the buildings on top of that. Now we have to cut pieces to fit here and there, and it really, you know, when we mound some of it up here and there, so it really looks like snow drifts, and it looks like there's more texture to the landscape than just like this flat, usual kind of train layout stuff. But there we go. And then we also sprinkle in a little bit of this little snowy cellophane stuff that makes it look like there's little bits of ice here and there. We've got our manger scene for the town over there. A couple people watching, sitting out there and having a good time, enjoying the weather. And we've got our vehicles back on there, and we've got our people populating the town. And then we get the trains running, and it's all magic. This is just really what we wanted it to be. And look at all the texture that extra snow is adding to the layout and the people at the train station. We also used cornstarch to sprinkle some stuff on top of the train platform and the buildings, and not the track, of course, but and on some of the cars, and that makes it look really, really cool. So there it is, folks. I'm really excited and really happy about how this came out. This is our first bigger train layout for Christmas, but this really takes the cake. So now we're going to move on to part 2, and part 2 is going to be what we're doing underneath the tree with another Christmas layout, and I think you're going to really like this one. So if you like this video, click on like and subscribe and comment, please. Thank you so much. Have a great holiday, and we'll see you on part 2.